Well, hello today to churches all over the world. My name is Craig Rochelle, and it is my tremendous honor to bring a great blessing to you. This weekend, we're going to hear from one of the greatest financial teachers around. This man has written many New York Times best-selling books. He's heard on over 400 radio stations to millions of people around the world. He has his own television talk show on Fox Business. Most importantly, this guy is a man of God. Could you please welcome Dave the Man Ramsey?
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you. That's cool. You guys are awesome. You're awesome. Well, I am so honored to be here. This is an incredible opportunity to get to share with you today and share with the folks all around the world through this process that Craig and his team has put together. It is an amazing thing to step back and see what God is doing all around the world. I get to travel a lot and see a lot of this kind of stuff, and it's happening out there. You don't see it on the news, but it's happening out there. It's happening. And I get to travel to places like this and get to see people like you. And we're going to talk a little bit about money today. You know what I found out about money? Money's fun if you got some. The other thing I found out about money is most people, aren't doing real good. If you've made big-time mistakes with money, you know what that makes you? Over 12. Most people have. How many of you ever done something stupid? Raise your hand. Yeah, man, I tell you, how many of you didn't raise your hand have a problem with lying? It's a real deal out there. It's easy to fall over in this money thing. And the weird thing is we all think everybody else is the one that has got it together, and we're the only stupid ones. The devil has lied to us. He's told us this shame and guilt story about ourselves and made us believe it. When I went broke 20 years ago and lost everything and had to start completely over, I believed I was the only one that had ever done something that stupid, that completely out of control. And I did go broke. I've got a PhD in DUMB. I am fully qualified to teach this stuff. I started with nothing and grew up not rich. How many of you guys grew up not rich? I grew up not rich, and I remember graduating from college broke and married my beautiful wife, Sharon. We started off broke. We were eating off a card table, driving a 1902 Pinto. Now, you remember how you start out. You know what I'm talking about. We ain't got money, honey, but we got love. And it's a good thing, too, because we ain't got no money. And I started buying and selling real estate. This was back in the 80s, 20 years ago. And I was pretty good at it. I'm kind of a math nerd, and I grew up in the real estate business. And by the time I was 26 years old, I had a little over $1 million in real estate, net worth $4 million in real estate, making $250,000 a year. It was fun. We were having a blast. Sometimes I hear these people say, all those rich people are miserable. Now, I'm not here to tell you money's going to make you happy, and I'm not here to tell you it makes you a good Christian or any of that kind of stuff. That's not my gig. It's not what I do. I don't have enough hair to teach that material. But the truth is, the thing is that I have found, though, is that as we made all of that money, it didn't fix our lives. It just made us more of who we already were. The moral of the story is, if you get rich and you're a jerk, you just become a colossal jerk. If you get rich and you have a big heart, they call you a giver, and they give it a big, long name, a philanthropist. If you get rich, you become more of what you are as you build wealth. So be careful of what you are. We learned that on the way up, and we learned it on the way down. Because I borrowed too much money, and the bank got sold to another bank, and they called our notes. Step up on this rug, and we will pull it. And I went, yes, that's me. Young and stupid. And I did it. And they called our notes, Not because we had done anything wrong, not because we'd done anything illegal or immoral. They freaked out. Bankers freak out sometimes. Have you all noticed? And we spent the next 2.5 years of our life losing everything we owned. We were sued and foreclosed on, and finally, with a brand new baby and a toddler and a marriage hanging on by a thread, we were bankrupt. This stuff will mess with your marriage, won't it? Number one cause of divorce in North America today, money fights and money problems. Number one thing people fight about in their marriage is money. Well, we did. Sharon would have left. She just didn't have the money. I mean, we fought, baby. We didn't get a divorce. We held on to each other, but sometimes it was just to get a better grip. Y'all know what I'm talking about. She's from the hills of East Tennessee. Frying pan throwing there's an Olympic event. And we hit bottom. I was on one of these news stations. I do all this TV work these days, and one of these talking heads asked me the other day, so you started with nothing and you became a millionaire and then you lost everything and now you're a multimillionaire, so how did you bounce back? I was like, dude, when you fall that far, you really don't bounce. It's more of a splat. I sat around, blamed everybody else. You ever blame everybody else when you do something stupid? It's kind of a problem in our culture today, you know. Turns out McDonald's does serve hot coffee. So, you know, I sat there, and the weird thing was I do everything backwards. I didn't grow up in church, and I met God on the way up. Most people meet him, you know, at the bottom of their mess, right? But I met him on the way up. I got to know him on the way down. It'll teach you. This thing called pain, it'll make you open a Bible. See, I've got all these letters and licenses and things after my name that says I'm supposed to know something about money. And there I sat, broke. No money. And then this guy told me the Bible had some stuff to say about money, and I went, really? Okay. I'll try that one. Mine didn't work. And I started studying people like Larry Burkett and Ron Blue and many of the other great writers in Christianity around the world that have opened the Scriptures for us on this subject. And I discovered this really easy stuff. It's easy to understand, and it works every time, but it's really hard to do. Because biblical finance, like so many other things, personal finance, the attributes and things you need in your life to be able to win with money, well, it's about 80% behavior. It's only about 20% head knowledge. Most of you know what to do. You're just not doing it. You're like me. The problem with my money is this idiot I shave with. The guy in my mirror is my issue. If I can get him to behave, he can be skinny and rich. So the stuff we're going to talk about out of the Bible, it's not like hard to understand. It's devastatingly easy to understand. You're going to be going, oh, good, I had a V8. It really does work that way. It's pretty easy stuff. So, you know, we're going to write some of this down, and we're going to think about it as we go. I want to cover 5 of the basics of biblical finance. Some of the first things I learned, and I still believe they're probably the most important things I've ever learned in my life about money, and I have learned a lot about money over the years. But this stuff, if you do these 5 things, it works every single time. It'll take some time. Now, if you're looking for easy, it's not going to work. We don't sell microwaves here. We sell crock pots. It's going to take a while. You got to cook it a while, but it'll taste better. Have you noticed most things in your spiritual life are that way? They're not instantaneous. You don't get this zzz, and all of a sudden you're a perfect husband. Didn't work that way. No, took 27 years and still not even close to the word perfect. I'm working on the P part still. But, you know, it's a process, isn't it? And this thing called money is the same exact thing. But to the extent you and your family will engage in these 5 activities, you will win with money. First thing you want to do if you want to win with money is you need to learn to get out of debt. Get out of debt. Now, that's pretty basic stuff. No kidding, Dave. That's a great idea. But, you know, the truth is debt equals risk. I have done detailed research, in-depth research, and I have found out that 100% of the foreclosures